Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I'm joined by Marcella Boyd, a consultant with Mercury Associates, to talk about the Certified Fleet Management Organization Program, or CFMO. CFMO is a third party certification that helps fleets measure and improve operations. It started in the early 2000s with James Wright of Fleet Counselor Services, paused in 2019, and was relaunched by Mercury Associates at GFX 2025. You can find a full background, breakdown, and timeline linked in the description. Marcella, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Nicole. Thanks for having me.
Well, to get started and give our audience a little bit more of a background, can you tell us more about the CFMO certification and what it is today, what is meaningfully different from the pre-2019 version as well?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So it's really going to be a benchmark for excellence in fleet management. What it does is it really showcases that your organization is economically efficient. It's going to be a self assessment, so it can really take as much time as you need or as little time as you need. And it's designed to help you identify any gaps within your organization. So things like compliance, maintenance, financial stewardship. Some of the big changes are really efficiency and ease of use with the assessment overall. We've reduced a lot of the redundancies that were in the prior assessment and we've compiled sections. I believe previously it was about 20 different sections that went across, and we were able to streamline that down to about 14. Our online portal has also made it a lot easier for our clients to upload information on there and for us to actually assess that information and give back feedback. We went into developing this assessment with the focus being that not all fleets are going to be the same. So we understand that operations vary in scope and the different resources that they have. So our goal is really to help you evaluate your current processes and make the most of the resources that you currently have in place.
So, why should a fleet then pursue CFMO, and where have past participants seen the biggest wins? Specifically, metrics, if you have that.
Yeah, so CFMO is really going to be a framework for continuous improvement. It's not just a box for your fleet to check. It really encourages your organization to take a hard look at what you're currently doing and actually drive meaningful change with any insights that either we offer or that you see throughout the process. City of Tulsa actually took this assessment, and after the process, they realized that there was some areas of opportunity within their operations. One of these was the KPIs that they were tracking. So a couple different things. They started looking at their parts availability, their preventative maintenance compliance, their fleet availability, and their inventory variance. After the assessment and over some time, as they were tracking these metrics that they discovered from the certification, they were able to identify different weak spots that they had in their operation and actually make adjustments. They then were able to show those results to their leadership team and demonstrate the progress that they'd made and how they're aligning better with fleet practices overall.
So, you're kind of touching on this, but how is criteria weighted, and are there any gate requirements that can block certification?
So each assessment is going to be different because there's some categories that are going to apply to some organizations and there's some categories that will not. As far as gate requirements, there's two main things that you will not pass the assessment if you do not have. One of those being a fleet management information system, or FMIS, and the second being policies and procedures. If you don't have either one of those in place, it's pretty difficult for us to assess and give feedback on how your fleet is actually doing. You could be the most organized person in the world, but without a FMIS, it's really hard for you to make any decisions based on data. On the other side, if you don't have any policies and procedures in place, there's probably no standardization across the organization, and there's that kind of signals to us that there's probably gaps in governance and accountability, which makes it really difficult for us to certify you.
So, then how does CFMO account for differences in size and resources, especially small or rural fleets, and for maturity in areas such as EVs and telematics?
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, it's really designed to be flexible. We recognize that fleets are different when it comes to size and their technology adoption. Telematics, for instance, has come a long way in the past decade, yet not every fleet has integrated that into it. So we do ask about this on the assessment so that if you do have technologies like this, we can see how you're utilizing them and make recommendations. But if you do not have it, it's not going to be like a fail against you. Again, you just simply skip that section. Maintenance is another good example of this. Some organizations have the ability to have in house maintenance, while others are going to be outsourcing their maintenance. There's going to be different criteria that you answer for both. And again, we're just looking at where you're at. And we really just want to understand how you're using the resources that are at your disposal to run the most efficient fleet operation that you can.
So then, if a fleet does happen to fall short, what feedback do they receive and how quickly can they remediate and reapply? And is there a typical timeline and cost to complete?
It's going to really vary from organization to organization as far as timeline. This is going to depend on how much time you actually have to dedicate to sitting down and doing the assessment, since it's a self assessment. And then, second, how easily and readily available is the information that you're going to need. We understand that some organizations, there's just a couple people that handle everything, and it might be easy for you to gather that information and input it. However, other organizations, there's people that wear multiple hats, and that information gathering process might take a little bit longer, which would prolong the certification. It's $4,995, and what's included with that is the initial assessment. You're going to get detailed feedbacks from one of our consultants upon the completion of your assessment. And if for some reason you don't pass the certification, the reassessment is also included if needed. What we are committing to is giving you feedback within 45 days of you submitting. And again, in the event that your organization is not certified, you're able to make any necessary adjustments from the feedback and take the assessment down the road at no additional cost.
So, and then finally, I think one of the most important things right now is, so how can fleets start preparing for this at this moment, especially with the goal to hand out certifications at GFX 2026?
So the program is officially live. If you want to receive your certification by then, everything needs to be in by May 1st. So that gives you about 6 months to complete the process. If you know it's going to take you a while to gather the information, my recommendation would be starting now. The sooner you begin, the more time you're going to have to work on the self-assessment and not be rushed and be able to work at your own pace. What you can do is, if you're interested, you can set up a call with me. We can get you started on the assessment and you can start gathering the information needed.
Thank you for sharing that. And for our fleets watching, you heard it. Now's the time to get started, especially GFX will be here before you know it. This year has been flying by. So start getting prepped on it. Again, the link to more information is in the description. And we're just excited to see that this program is back and up and running. So I know a lot of our operations are also excited to see that as well. And we're looking forward to see what, fleets are accomplishing and, successes that we can milestone and benchmark as well. So, Marcella, thank you so much for sharing the info and joining us today to share that.
Yeah, thanks again for having me. Thanks, Nicole.
And to everyone watching, thank you for joining us for another GovCast episode. We'll see you next time.